So in Article 1336 says here, violence or intimidation shall annul the obligation although it may have been employed by the third person who did not take part in the contract. So for example, a scenario wherein imagine a situation where Juan wants to buy Pedro's house. However, Juan is not a legitimate buyer and he hires a group of thugs to threaten Pedro into selling the house at a price lower than its market value. So, Pedro, fearing for his life and the safety of his family, signs the contract. So, in application of Article 1336, in this case, Pedro's consent was not freely given. The intimidation by the third party vitiated the consent, making the contract voidable. This means Pedro can choose to either uphold the contract or file a legal action to annul it, effectively undoing the sale. So, pwede niyang i-cancel yun. Next, Article 1337. There is an undue influence when a person takes improper advantage of his power over the will of another, depriving the latter of the reasonable freedom of choice. The following circumstances shall consider the confidential, family, spiritual, and other relations between the parties, or the fact that the person alleged to have been unduly influenced was suffering from mental weakness, or was ignorant or in financial distress. For example, in this scenario, yung vulnerable party natin is an elderly woman recently widowed, has just lost her husband and is emotionally distraught. She also has limited experience in financial matters and well not versed in property transactions. So here comes the influencing party. Her nephew, who is aware of her vulnerability and has a close relationship with her, potentially a confidential or family relationship, sees an opportunity. Next, undue re- influence. The nephew, knowing his aunt's emotional state and lack of knowledge, pressures her to sell her house. He uses persuasive tactics, perhaps emphasizing how difficult it will be for her to manage the property alone, and convinces her to sell it to him at a price far below market value. He might also exaggerate the difficulties she faces, playing on her fears and anxieties. Yung nagtitake advantage yung nephew niya sa kanya. Lack of free consent. The aunt, due to undue influence, agrees to the sale despite not fully understanding the terms or the true value of her property. She feels pressured and overwhelmed by her nephew's influence, making her decision not truly her own. Consequences. Because the aunt's consent was obtained through undue influence, the contract of sale could be considered voidable. This means the aunt could potentially annul the contract and reclaim her house if she can prove the undue influence occurred. Next, in Article 1338, there is a fraud when through insidious words or machinations of one of the contracting parties, the other is induced to enter to a contract which without them he would not have agreed to. Yung may contract na nangyari pero wala siya dun or hindi siya aware. For example, Aling Maria's statement about the roof condition, despite knowing the truth, constitute insidious words or machinations. He actively misled the Santos. For example, inducement to enter the contract. The Santos would not have bought the house if they had known that the leak about the leak, and the fraudulent representation was the crucial factor in their decision to enter the contract. So here comes the ground for annulment. Because the fraud was dolo causante, essential cause of the consent, the Santos can seek to annul the contract of sale. This means they can ask the court to cancel the contract and restore them to their original position. Example, return the purchase price. Ganun. Yung key points dito sa Article 1338 fraud is casual, yung for example, casual fraud. Article 1338 deals with a dolo causante, which is fraud that is the reason the other party entered the contract. Distinction from accidental fraud: if the fraud is not the primary reason for entering the contract, dolo insidente naman. It may not be grounds for annulment but could lead to damages. Burden of proof: the party alleging fraud, like the Santos, must prove it to the court. Yung ipo-prove nila yung reasons. Yun. So in Article 1339, failure to disclose facts when there is a duty to reveal them, as when the parties are bound to confidential relations, constitutes fraud. For example, partnership and land. A partnership owns a parcel of land, and Shan and Yani are partners. Shan learns that the third party, Carlo, is interested in buying the land of high price. So, Shan's action, Shan buys the Yanis share in the partnership without disclosing Carlos' offers. Yung fraudulent concealment niya is by failing to disclose the information about Carlos' interest. Shan conceals a material fact that would have influenced Yanis' decision to sell the share. Parang kinuha niya yun without Yanis' consent or without her knowing, hindi siya aware. Yani may have the grounds to annul the sale of this partnership to Shan because of this fraudulent concealment, as Shan had a duty to disclose material facts relevant to the transaction. Next, we go to Article 1340. The usual exaggeration in trade when the other party had an opportunity to know the facts are not in themselves fraudulent. fraudulent. For example, a furniture store is selling a dining set. The salesperson, while describing the set, mentions that the wood is top quality imported mahogany. The customer, who is not an expert in wood types, is impressed and buys the set. Later, the customer discovers the wood is actually mix of mahogany and less expensive hardwood. So in analysis, in this case, the salesperson states about the wood being top quality imported mahogany is an example of usual exaggeration in trade. Yung parang sinasabi nila na, oh, uh, high class to, class A to, ganun, ganun. Pero hindi naman pala, hindi siya legit or legit na mahogany. Usually, or tolerated fraud. It's a common practice for salesperson to use persuasive language to highlight the benefits of their products. Siyempre naman, sino ba naman yung salesperson na magsasabi na pangit yung product nila, edi sino yung bibili, di ba? Since the customer is not an expert and relied on salesperson's description, this statement would likely not be considered fraudulent under Article 1340. Ganun yun. Yung sinisales stock natin para lang makabenta tayo. It's a fraudulent under is a fraudulent under Article 1340. So, however, if the salesperson had been known expert in furniture and wood types, and the customer specifically relied on their expertise when purchasing the set, then the misinterpretation misrepresentation could be considered fraudulent under Article 1340. In that case, the customer could potentially have grounds to annul the contract due to fraud. Yun. So let's go to the next article, 1341. A mere expression of an opinion does not signify fraud unless made by an expert and the other party has relied on the former's special knowledge. Hindi, it says here that uh, hindi na, a mere expression of an opinion does not signify fraud unless made by an expert. So, the other party has relied on the former's special knowledge. For example, a man named Ben wants to buy a car. He consults his friend Carla, who is a car mechanic, for advice on which car to buy. So, knowing Carla, which is an expert or a mechanic, knowing that Ben needs a reliable car for long drives, expresses her opinion that a particular car model is the best choice because it is fuel efficient and durable. Based on Carla's recommendation, Ben buys the car. However, the car turns out to be prone to engine problems and not very fuel efficient. So in this case scenario, Carla's statement is an expression of opinion. Since Carla is an expert a mechanic, her opinion carries more weight. Yung parang naniwala na kaagad siya porket alam niya ng uh, mechanic siya. If Ben relied on Carla's expertise and his reliance was reasonable, when Carla's opinion could be considered a misrepresentation that would invalidate the contract, the sale of the car. If Ben can approve that Carla's opinion was the significant factor in his decision to buy the car and that Carla knew her statement was false, then the contract could be annulled. Legal source suggests this situation could be considered dolo asante, essential cause of the consent. However, if Ben had other reason for buying the car or if Carla opinion was not major factor, it might be considered dolo incidente, which means incidental fraud, which would only oblige Carla to pay damages but not invalidate the contract. Yung key points natin dito sa Article 1341 is expression of opinion are not considered fraud. Exception, if the opinion is made by an expert and other party relies on it, it can be considered fraud. Pero what if second hand, di ba? What if second hand yung kinuha niya? Eh di, tapos wala siya doon na nag-inspect mismo doon sa car na ano, mako-consider ba natin yun na fraud? Uh, it's no. Because wala naman siya doon. Hindi naman siya yung nandun na nag nag-speculate unless it is brand new. So the next regarding reliance, the reliance on the expert opinion must be reasonable and significant factor in the other party's decision to enter the contract unless he's an known expert. Ganun. If the expert's opinion is false and the expert knew it was false, it can be considered fraud. Yung sabi niya na, like yung sabi ni Carla na fuel efficient, ganun. But it turns out hindi. Well, depende naman siguro yan sa driver. Effects. Fraud can be invalidate the contract like dolo castrante or require the person who employed the fraud to pay damages dolo incidente. That's the difference between dolo casuante and dolo incidente. Fraud in dolo casuante, fraud can invalidate the contract or and in dolo incidente require the person who employed the fraud to pay damages. Dolo incidente pag siya yung cost and pag dolo casuante naman invalidate the contract. Let's go to the next article 1342. Misrepresentation by the third person does not vitiate consent unless such misrepresentation has created substantial mistake and the same is mutual. Scenario: Anna sells her painting to Ben, a third party to Ben, and a third party Carl tells both Anna and Ben that painting is an original and valuable piece. Relying on this information, Anna and Ben agree on a high price for the painting. Yung nag-agree sila dahil yung akala nila the painting was legit. Later, they discover the painting is a fake. So in analysis, third party misrepresentation. Carl, a third party made a false statement about the painting. Casual fraud yun. Casual fraud yun. This misrepresentation induced both Anna and Ben to enter in a contract. Yung parang nahila sila sa contract unknowingly that yung third party is nagbigay siya ng false statement. Significantly impacting the price of their consent to the agreement. Dahil sa false statement, naging kampante na sila tapos nagtaas na sila ng price and consent doon sa regarding doon sa agreement. Yung mutual mistake naman doon is both Anna and Ben were mistaken about the painting's authenticity due to Carl's misrepresentation. Yung outcome, because of misrepresentation, was casual, induced a mutual mistake, and affected both parties. The contract between Anna and Ben could be invalidated under Article 1442. Let's go next naman, Article 1343. Misrepresentation made in good faith is not fraudulent, but may constitute to error. For example is, let's say a homeowner A wants to sell their house. They genuinely believe that they have 100 fruit bearing trees on the property. As stated in the previous survey, they tell the potential buyer B that there are 100 trees. B, relying on the information, decides to buy the house. However, after the sale, it's discovered that there are only 50 bearing fruit trees, even though A honestly believed that there are 100 trees. This misrepresentation is serious enough to be potentially make the contract voidable. So, pwede niya yung pwedeng i-cancel yun ng ni B yung contract as it is significantly impacted the value of the desirability of the property. If B had known about the actual number of trees, then Article 1340 would not apply. Kasi nag-a-apply lang ang Article 1343 pag yung misrepresentation is galing sa third party and not to the uh, hindi yung within the contract. Yung key takeaway naman dito sa Article 1343 highlights that even unintentional misrepresentation can have legal consequences if they are significant enough to affect the contract. The key is whether the misrepresentation was serious and whether it was known to both parties. Pag alam naman nila siguro yun or aware si A doon sa sinabi niya na 100, the bearing fruit yung nasa land niya or kampante siya, sure siya, then hindi naman na yun misrepresentation. That the Article 1343 would not apply. So let's go to the next article, 1344. In order that fraud may take a contract voidable, it should be serious and should not have been employed by both contracting parties. Incidental fraud only oblige the person employing it to pay damages. For example, imagine a scenario where seller Mr. X convinces a buyer Miss Y to purchase a piece of land and misrepresenting its size. Parang sinabi, yung for example, sabi ni Mr. X na yung kinonvince niya si Miss Y na yung land niya is 1 hectare. Yun pala, uh, kulang ng isa, 999 square meters. But tells Miss Y it's 1.5 hectare, significantly affecting the price and value. This is casual fraud, also known as dolo casuante, because the misrepresentation inducted Miss Y to enter into contract. Miss Y can potentially annul the contract due to this serious fraud. However, if Miss X had simply mentioned that there might be some minor discrepancies in the land area but still proceeded with the sale, without exaggerating the size, that would be considered incidental fraud, also known as dolo incidente, while Mr. X would still be reliable for damages. The difference in value between the stated size and the actual size, the contract would still be valid. Yung key difference niya doon is yung casual fraud or dolo casuante, fraud that is the reason the other party entered to the contract. It is a serious, it can be ground for annulment of the contract. Yung reason kung bakit siya pumasok or nag-agree doon sa contract. Yung incidental fraud, dolo incidente, fraud that doesn't induce a contract but is present in the performance of the contract. It obliges the guilty party to pay damages but does not make the contract voidable. Gets naman na yun, di ba? Kanina pa yan nagiging examples. Yung dolo casuante and dolo incidente, the difference between them. So let's go to the Article 1345. Simulation of the contract may be absolute or relative. The former takes place when the parties do not intend to be bound at all. The latter, when the parties conceal their true agreement. For example, Danny owes Kathy money. To avoid paying Danny, to avoid paying, Danny sells his land to his father-in-law Fredo through the deed of sale. However, Danny continues to possess and use the land as if nothing has changed. He received no money from Fredo for the sale. Ulitin ko ha. Danny owes Cathy money, and to avoid paying, Danny sells his land to his father-in-law Fredo through through a deed of sale. Alam ba natin yung deed of sale? Search nyo. However, Danny continues to possess and use the land as if nothing has changed. He receives no money from Fredo for the sale. Explanation: this is an absolute simulation because the parties, Danny and Fredo, did not genuinely intend to transfer ownership of the land. The contract is a sham designed to create a false appearance. Remember that po, yung sham is yun yung designed to create a false appearance. The true intention of this is to make appear that Danny no longer owns a land, potentially hindering Cathy's ability to collect the debt. Parang dahil wala na siyang to ano yun? Wala nang nakikita na uh, pagmamay-ari si Danny. So here's a scenario illustrating relative simulation. Scenario, a donor wants to donate a fish pond to a donor. Instead of executing a deed of donation, they execute a deed of sale concealing the true nature of the transaction. Donation yun. Explanation: this is a relative simulation because of the parties donor and donee have the actual agreement, a donation, but they hide it by disguising it as a sale. The true intention is to donate, but they use the sale contract to conceal this fact.